In light of recent news related to Taco Bell, I have decided to take on the task of eating all Taco Bell salads, therefore ingesting all diarrhea parasites on this planet.
Y'all, did something happen? Why does Taco Bell not hit the same anymore? Like, it's the place next to my house, so they know me, like, that's the place. I don't know, like, it doesn't hit the same anymore. Like, right now, I'd rather drive a little bit further to Pollo Loco.
So Taco Bell is stressing out right now because they're literally getting no customers due to the diarrhea parasite.
Does anyone remember when Taco Bell used to be the best fast food chain in America? But now everything has changed. Ask anyone who really loves Taco Bell and they will tell you just how far it has fallen. Every week, Taco Bell serves as many as 42 million Americans, making it the king of Mexican fast food in the United States. Even more surprising, most of its menu revolves around just 8 ingredients, yet it generates profit margins higher than McDonald's. And now that same simplified model is backfiring. In just a few weeks, 2 of those 8 core ingredients have turned this profit machine into a crisis: nearly 1,950 infections, 98 hospitalizations, and trust in the entire menu is starting to collapse. Is Taco Bell heading down the same road as Jack in the Box? Today I'm going to break down what Taco Bell's really doing, why loyal customers are starting to turn away, and in just a few minutes I will give you a practical plan for choosing safer food before a cheap meal turns into a medical bill costing thousands of dollars. Watch this entire video before you step inside Taco Bell one more time.
So Taco Bell had a $1 promotion for one of its most popular items earlier this week. And the reason it did this is because it's trying to get more people in the door after health officials linked lettuce used by Taco Bell to the cyclospora outbreak earlier this month.
Your BCG case interview client is Taco Bell. Taco Bell is experiencing a lettuce contamination outbreak that has sickened thousands of customers. Taco Bell's CEO has asked you how they should respond.
First of all, I have to say, this is a pretty risky move by Taco Bell. As you probably know, earlier this week, Taco Bell launched a promotion and offering one of its familiar menu items for just $1 to bring customers back. But to me, this does not look like a normal sale they run during the year. It looks more like a temporary cover for the crisis of trust Taco Bell is facing. If you live in America, you're probably very familiar with Taco Bell. People go there because it is fast, cheap, and predictable. You walk in, order the taco or burrito you always get, and trust that a brand this big has already checked the ingredients for you. Nobody stands at the counter asking which farm the lettuce came from, where it was prepared, or which shipment it belonged to. That trust is exactly what keeps fast food chains alive. But that trust was shaken when health officials linked shredded iceberg lettuce served at certain Taco Bell locations to a cyclospora outbreak. This is not a bacterium or a virus. It is an intestinal parasite that can cause long-lasting diarrhea, stomach pain, nausea, and dehydration. By July 24th, nearly 1,950 people across 9 states who reported eating at Taco Bell had been confirmed sick. At least 98 people had to be hospitalized. As the news spread, American media outlets began covering it heavily. At one point, customer traffic at Taco Bell dropped by nearly 30%. And that was when the $1 promotion showed up. It may bring some people back. But a low price does not automatically erase the most important question: are the ingredients in the food actually safe? After authorities stepped in, Taco Bell made a move that left me stunned all over again. Instead of immediately giving customers a clear picture of where the lettuce came from, how widespread the problem was, and how they planned to keep it from happening again, the most visible solution was to remove the lettuce involved from the system and promote items without lettuce. To put it a little sarcastically, customers were asking, where does your lettuce come from and why did this happen? And the answer they got sounded almost like, well, for now, we just will not put lettuce in it. To be fair, Taco Bell did not permanently remove items with lettuce from the menu. They stopped using the suspected lettuce source from Taylor Farms, New Mexico, and switched to another source. But that still only deals with the immediate danger. What customers want more than anything is transparency. The supply tracing process pointed toward Taylor Farms, New Mexico, a company that supplies lettuce from central Mexico. Taylor Farms later voluntarily recalled the related products as well. But the story does not end with Taco Bell. The recall list also included certain bags of market-side lettuce sold at Walmart. This does not prove that the lettuce at Walmart and Taco Bell came from the same shipment. But it does show that restaurants and grocery stores can connect to the same supplier behind the scenes. Whole Foods has not been confirmed as directly connected to this recall. Still, the question is worth asking. Taco Bell feels convenient. Walmart feels affordable. Whole Foods feels premium. But if all of these systems can buy from the same large suppliers, are we paying for food that truly comes from a different source, or are we mainly paying for the sign, the packaging, and the feeling of safety? And this is only the first point of contact. Keep watching because you are about to see that what is happening is much worse. After the lettuce incident, what concerns me is no longer just where Taco Bell bought its vegetables. The bigger question is, what about the chicken inside those burritos, tacos, and quesadillas? Does Taco Bell control the source of the chicken it sells? Or does the chain also depend on a supply system customers never see? The information currently available does not provide enough evidence to conclude that Taco Bell's chicken comes from Tyson or any particular supplier. But that lack of information is exactly the problem. Customers see the Taco Bell logo, but they rarely know where the chicken was raised, who slaughtered it, who processed it, or whether one plant is making products for several different brands. To understand the scale of the issue, look at Oklahoma. Every year, the state raises hundreds of millions of chickens, most of them in industrial systems. Meanwhile, my farm raises only about 16,000 chickens on pasture. That may sound like a lot, but compared with the entire industry, that number practically disappears. This shows that large chains like Taco Bell can hardly depend mainly on small farms if they want to keep prices low and serve a large number of stores every day. When Taco Bell promotes a new chicken item, customers see the recipe, the sauce, and the packaging. What they do not see is the supply chain behind it. The chicken may pass through a major processor, be prepared according to Taco Bell's own recipe, and then appear under the chain's brand name. Coming from the same plant does not necessarily mean having the same quality, but Taco Bell is not completely separated from the pressures affecting the rest of the industry either. The situation involving Tyson and Chick-fil-A shows what can happen when a large company changes its standards. Tyson once promoted a commitment to using no antibiotics, then later adjusted that policy. Not long after that, Chick-fil-A changed a similar promise. That does not prove Tyson forced Chick-fil-A to follow along, but it does show that even a famous brand may have to make changes when the supply behind it changes. And that is the question we need to ask about Taco Bell. If a major chicken supplier changes its policies on antibiotics-free pricing or production, how much of its promise to customers can Taco Bell keep? Does the chain have backup suppliers, or does it only have a few options large enough to serve the entire system? When standards change, are customers clearly informed? After the lettuce incident, Americans should not only ask how Taco Bell handled that shipment of lettuce, they should also ask where the chicken in their meal came from, because changing the item, changing the restaurant, or changing the brand does not necessarily mean leaving the same supply system.
Am I crazy, or does Taco Bell have us fucked up? Remember when they were the recession-proof spot? When you couldn't afford McDonald's, you'd scoot on over to Taco Bell and pick up 12 items for $5. Now they got tacos for $4, combos for $11. When did Taco Bell stop being the cheap option and start pricing like everybody else? And look, we always knew it was garbage, but it was cheap garbage.
So the new shredded beef dipping burritos came out today at Taco Bell. This was our order. The cost for this was $32 for 2 people, which if you go to a Mexican restaurant...
You know what caught my attention in the video above is that the man clearly knows what is going on with Taco Bell. He has heard about the parasite, the diarrhea, and the lettuce investigation, but in the end he still says he will keep eating at Taco Bell. I think that reaction says a lot about this brand. Taco Bell does not just sell tacos or burritos. For many Americans, it is a habit they have had for a long time. It is fast, it stays open late, and most importantly, it used to be a place where you did not need much money to get a meal that was fairly filling. Taco Bell understands that very well. When customer traffic dropped after the lettuce incident, the thing they offered to bring people back was a $1 item. But we need to be clear, this is not the regular price. The deal only lasts for a very short time and you have to order through the app or website, and is only available at participating locations. The regular price of that item is much higher. In my opinion, Taco Bell is not just lowering the price of a menu item. They're trying to bring back an old memory for customers, a time when a few dollars could buy several items without downloading an app, creating an account, or waiting for the right promotion day. That used to be Taco Bell's unspoken promise. The food might not be fancy, but it was cheap, familiar, and easy to get. The problem is that prices for many familiar items have gone up significantly over the past decade. Some items that once cost just over $1 are now close to $3 or $4. A full combo can also leave customers paying much more than they expected for a fast food meal. Of course, Taco Bell is not the only chain raising prices. The costs of meat, cheese, labor, rent, and transportation are all higher. The cost of eating out across America also continues to rise. But Taco Bell has a problem of its own. The brand built its reputation on low prices. When an upscale restaurant adds $1 to the price, customers may not notice. But at Taco Bell, $1 used to be the price of an entire item. Taco Bell still has options under $3 bundled meal boxes, and deals in the app. That means you can still eat fairly cheaply, but you have to choose the right item, the right promotion, and the right time. And that is exactly what has changed. In the past, customers walked into Taco Bell because they automatically assumed it was cheap. Now a good price feels more and more like a reward for people willing to download the app hunt for deals and play by the brand's rules. Taco Bell has not completely lost its price advantage, but this $1 item shows that the company is still relying heavily on memories of a cheaper Taco Bell from the past to keep customers coming back today. And moments like this are exactly what reveal which links the food system behind it really depends on. And it is moments like these that reveal exactly which links the food system behind the scenes depends on. I think most of us only pay attention to the supply chain when a food item disappears from the shelves, prices suddenly shoot up, or someone ends up in the hospital. When everything is still fully stocked, all we see is the brand name, the packaging, and the price. We rarely stop and ask how many companies our food passed through before it reached us. The COVID pandemic was the first time many Americans saw that problem. Some products became harder to find on store shelves. Meat prices went up, and many stores had to limit how much each customer could buy. But America did not suddenly run out of livestock. The bottleneck was at the processing plants, where thousands of workers got sick. Many production lines had to slow down, and some facilities temporarily shut down. That was when I realized something pretty simple. We can have a whole lot of farms, but if too much of our food has to pass through a small number of major plants, the moment those plants slow down, the entire system starts to clog up. The egg shortage that followed told a similar story. Bird flu forced tens of millions of laying hens to be removed from flocks. Supply dropped while demand stayed high, and egg prices quickly went up. Shoppers did not see the flocks being destroyed. All they saw was a carton of eggs getting more expensive on the family grocery bill. But those two things were connected by the same chain. Then came the lettuce incident at Taco Bell. At first, people saw it as a problem involving one fast food chain, but when authorities traced the supply backward, the investigation pointed to Taylor Farms de Mexico. After that, some bags of market-side lettuce sold at Walmart also showed up in the recall. That does not mean every product came from the same shipment, but it does show that restaurants and grocery stores may depend on the same supplier behind the scenes. And this is what worries me most. If the problem is limited to one store, you can avoid that store. But if the problem is with the supplier, you may run into that same link somewhere completely different without ever knowing it. I also want to be fair. Here, large systems are not always bad. Large-scale production helps produce more food, distribute it farther, and often keep prices lower. Using the same supplier also does not mean every product is exactly the same. Recipes, shipments, and quality control standards can still be different. But that efficiency comes with a trade-off. When too many products depend on a small number of major facilities, one small incident can quickly become a problem affecting multiple states, multiple brands, and millions of families. The meat processing industry is a clear example, with 4 major companies handling most livestock purchasing in the American market. COVID slowed down meat plants. Bird flu reduced the egg supply. The Taco Bell incident showed that risk can travel from a supplier to both restaurants and grocery stores. 3 different crises, but they all expose the same thing. Americans see a whole lot of brands out front while the system behind them may be much more concentrated. What is hard to understand is that after every crisis, everything eventually goes almost right back to the way it was. So why do we keep accepting the system? But do not worry. Like I promised in the next part, I will show you how to survive in a world that is becoming more and more covered in fast food. Okay, now let us talk about the solution to this problem. And of course, I'm not going to tell you to quit your job, buy a piece of land, raise your own chickens, grow your own vegetables, and cook every meal from scratch. That sounds nice, but it is not realistic for most Americans. A lot of people work all day, live in cities, have young children, or simply cannot afford to buy everything from high-end stores. The goal here is not to live perfectly. The goal is to reduce blind dependence and take back some control. The first thing I recommend is not trying to change your entire kitchen in one day. Pick a few foods your family eats most often, like eggs, chicken, beef, or raw vegetables. Then start with just one item. You could find a local source for eggs. Buy vegetables that are in season, or cut back on how many times you eat fast food each week. In my opinion, a small change you can stick with is still better than trying to do everything and giving up after a few days. The next step is to find the people who actually produce food near you. You can start with farmers, markets, farm stores, food cooperatives, or seasonal produce delivery programs. But I also need to make this clear. Do not see a wooden table, a few baskets of vegetables, and a sign that says local and immediately believe everything. Some sellers really do grow their own food, but others buy products somewhere else and bring them to the market to sell at a higher price. So ask questions. Where were these vegetables grown? Where was this meat raised and slaughtered? Were antibiotics used? Did the seller produce it, or did they buy it from someone else? If there is a problem or a recall, how will they notify customers? A good seller does not need to have a perfect answer to every question, but at the very least they should know where their products come from and be willing to explain it. Once you find a source you trust, keep buying from them. Over time you will learn which vegetables are available in each season, why prices change, and how they handle problems when they come up. A real relationship will always be worth more than a nice logo on a package. As for fast food, I'm not telling you to give it up completely. There are days when we work late, drive long distances, or simply do not have the energy to cook. Fast food still has its place, but do not give all your trust to the brand. When there is a warning, check which item is being investigated. When there is a recall, look at which source is involved. And do not let a $1 item make you forget why the price was dropped to $1. You do not need to know the name of every company in the supply chain. You also do not need to turn your home into a farm. Just start with one item, find one source you trust, and learn how to ask the right questions. Because surviving in the world of fast food does not mean running away from every restaurant or a grocery store. It means not handing over all your health money and trust to a logo. So do not buy food based only on trust in a familiar name. The lettuce incident at Taco Bell was only the first warning sign that was clearly discovered. The questions surrounding meat, eggs, and other ingredients suggest that the story could be much bigger. Americans think they are choosing among dozens of different restaurants, grocery stores, and brands. But behind those names, many products may still pass through the same small group of major suppliers and companies. That does not mean every product is the same or that every product is dangerous, but it does mean we need to know what we are buying, who we are buying it from, and how the system behind it works. What kind of food would you like me to investigate next? Did your family eat at Taco Bell while this recent incident was happening? Did anyone have unusual symptoms like long-lasting diarrhea, stomach pain, or nausea? Share your experience in the comments. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel so we can keep taking a deeper look at what is happening behind America's food supply. I will see you in the next video.